This is always the most confusing part of rigging. So hopefully you can stay with it. I think I've included a document that will help you remember, guide you through it as well. But all right, the idea is if I look in the node view, uh, I see that, and I pick the pupils peg. Okay, when I move those, you can see obviously we have a problem, right? So I have to get those to hide behind that. So I'm going to need some special tools to add to this whole configuration. Now, I have to affect the artwork because the pegs only affect the animation. We're going to affect artwork, so we don't need to worry about the mouth. We're getting it out of the way. We need to worry about the left pupil and the left eye, the right pupil and the right eye. Okay? All right, stay with me. This is crazy. Down to the node library. And I need two of these, a cutter. I'm going to drag one up, drag two up. Okay? Now I'm going to type in the word here, find line, and I'm going to drag this line art up into the node view and two. So now I have two. So one for each eye. Now, this is really, really, really important. Remember when we set our preferences, we made sure in advance that we had access to multiple layers. So we have an overlay, line, color, and underlay. This is not layers. These are different layers. Within the drawing itself, there are layers. Okay? Are you with me? So a drawing has an overlay, a line layer, a color layer, and an underlay layer. Then a drawing on top, a layer on top of it will have the same four. So each of these layers that are artwork layers, not pegs, artwork layers have their own internal layers. Now, we have to do some surgery here. So we're going to pick the actual artwork. We're going to pick the left eye, okay? And we're going to go to the drawing view of that. And I'm going to select the color. And I know it's color because if I drag it out, right, it should just be the color. Well, this is what I get for not using my mouse. There, it is just the color. So I've got that selected. I'm going to go Command X, then go down here to color and paste. So now it's kind of on its own layer, not on the line layer. The line layer is just the line layer. Got to do the same thing with the right eye. Select the color, Command X, go down to the color layer, Command V. There, all done. Back to the camera view. Great. So no big deal. Everything looks the same. Now, watch carefully. I'm going to take the cutter. Okay. And I'm going to unplug the pupil. Watch it disappear. See, it just disappeared. And I'm going to plug it into the cutter. Still can't see it. I leave the right eye plugged into the composite node, but I'm going to use this as a mask as well. There's the mask. So I'm going to pull another line out of the eye and plug it into the mask part of the cutter. Okay? So you can see how this is configured. The pupil's going into just a little blue box and the eye is going into the mask. And then I will plug the cutter into the composite node. Still can't see anything, can you? I'll click on the yellow box, and because the cutter is using the eye as the mask, I need it to flip itself around. I need it to invert. Now I have a pupil that should disappear when we move it. Let's do that same maneuver here. Pupil unplugged into the cutter. Left eye stays plugged in. We take an extra line, plug it into the mask, then plug that in. Okay. Then yellow box, invert. Now what happens? Well, we don't move artwork because we turned off the ability to animate that way. Let's grab both pupils and move them and see what happens. They disappear. Except they don't quite get past the black line, but they are definitely disappearing behind the head. So in order to get the line to work as a blocker, we now have to plug into those line controls. Remember, we grabbed the line art, and remember we separated the color from the line? So now we need to get that line layer to pretend it's an actual independent layer on top. I'm going to take the eye, which has the line layer, drag another pipeline out of it, and I'm going to do the same thing while we're here. Take the line, drag another pipeline out of that into the line art, and now plug these in on top of everything, except that's the mouth, so I won't do that. Plug, plug. Now, let's see. Will these things disappear underneath the eyes? Oh, he's so amazing. Okay, and there you go. So we have to do the same. We'll have to do the same kind of exercise. We want to have eyelids that drop down. There are all kinds of things that we use this for, but this is essentially how we use cutters and pegs. So this is a little busy little spot, and you can see why I said sometimes I make different composites, like one for each eye. Okay, but once again, my controls for everything I'm going to move. I don't need to move the mouth. I don't need to move the eyeballs, but I do need to move these pegs. So you know what I mean? I'm getting so much control. I can pick that pupil and move it if I need to. All right. Well, that was unfortunate. I made it go completely away, but it's okay. I'm right here, and I can just be up to both of them. Okay. And that is again the trickiest part of everything. All right. So that is our basic composite, our basic rig. And you know, looks complicated, but it isn't. We can move this character now in various ways. Simply, if I want to move that arm, that hand, I can move now by, you know, waving, just by rotating the hand around. I can be up the chain and move the arm. I can pick his foot. Oh, yeah, no, that would be fine. I can pick his body. Be up. See that? When I pick it, if I just pick the artwork body, it's going to be, that's just a drawing. That's not gonna, I can't animate that. Now, this makes more sense. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, I'll show you some deformers soon. And that is the end of our rig. See if you can get this far, and then I'll show you deformers. Okay, thanks.